Hello, my fellow barbarians. It is me, Rock, followed here up with my good friend MDA Gaming, the father of Conquest.
What is up, everyone? What is up?
Uh, Today we decided to experiment with the little stage, whatchamacallit, on Discord. So basically, we got three people in live right now, so they can sit here, chat, listen to us, but they can't say anything unless they request. And so I think this is kind of an experimental pod. We'll kind of see how it works this go around. And so hopefully we keep doing this because so far it looks like it's pretty interesting. Anyone can jump in whenever they want. Um, like someone just joined right now and it didn't make a sound for us. So that is pretty appreciative. So I
Yeah,
guess we can go ahead and get into it. We want to start with T3's Omicron and then we'll, head
yeah,
into the eighth brother and all that
yeah,
fun
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Real quick, before we get started, this will be available on YouTube. I am recording this, and this will be
Mhm.
up probably later tonight or tomorrow. I'll have this all recorded and up. So, in case you can only stop in for about 15, 20 minutes, you'll be able to listen to the rest of it on YouTube. So, without further ado, yeah, let's jump into T3 and 4's Omicron. I know that we just had the title update, and we will touch on that in a little bit. I have not seen any new Omicrons or kit reveals yet, so unless it happens while we're doing the pod, it most likely it's going to get pushed to the next one when it comes.
Mhm. Okay. And also for the people in the chat, I have a little podcast text thing, and I went ahead and I posted a screenshot of the T3 Omicron so you could read it for yourself. And then I also have the Eighth Brothers kit in here as well.
So,
So,
without further ado, let's jump into T3 and 4's new Omicron. It is going to be on his unique, which is the Master Gearhead unique. And this is going to be a Territory Wars Omicron. So, the old text reads, this is pre Omicron. T3 and 4 has plus 100% defense penetration, and droid allies gain 100% of T3 and 4's defense penetration. Additionally, each time T3 and 4 starts his turn, he has a 75% chance to inflict target lock for 2 turns on a random enemy who does not already have it. This target lock can't be evaded. So now, while in Territory Wars, at the start of the encounter, T3 and 4 gain stealth for 2 turns, and droid allies gain 15 armor penetration and 30% max health. Droid allies have plus 20% defense for each target locked enemy, plus 20% defense while debuffed, and plus 20% defense while buffed. At the start of T3 and 4's turn, inflict target lock for 2 turns on a random enemy who does not already have it, which can't be evaded. Then all allies recover 5% health and protection for each target locked enemy. Um, I'll let you go first here. What's your thoughts here on the Omicron?
I wish it was GAC, but then again, I wish all of the Territory War Omicrons were GAC related. But that's just me. But honestly, I don't know. I like it a good bit. Just the 30% max health is very interesting, especially if you got to think like the whole purpose of this is to throw it with like GG droids
Mm-hmm.
because it's got a ton of droid synergy. Other than that, I don't know what else droid wise you can throw this with, like IG-11. I mean, not IG-11, but like IG-88 lead or something like that. But like other than that, I'm
You
just
could
assuming that
definitely
this
do
is.
something nasty with this. Like, I think the obvious is like the GG nuke team, and
Mhm.
you do that. But I think you could do like a nasty team with like IG-88 lead or with HK-47 lead. Um,
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing is like,
Even Lobot.
yeah, even
Lobot's got a pretty
Lobot.
nasty.
Recovering 5% health and protection for each target locked enemy. So if you have 5 at the start of T3's turn, he's going to be gaining, or the whole team's going to be gaining 25% health and protection. And that's on top of, it depends on what team you run him with. Like, um, this could be a scary team, and especially like they're already getting a ton of defense penetration. The flat 15 isn't too much, but the rest of the team still is getting the defense penetration from the original text. But
Mhm.
the added defense, I mean, At the most, that's plus 140% defense, which is really nice. And I mean, you throw in BB-8 on this team, the whole team is starting at with 40% turn meter. Which, just to put that into perspective, if your droids are 240 speed with 40% turn meter, you would need to be at least 400 speed to get into the coin toss or to outrun them. So, and especially if you get some of these droids like 300 plus speed or like 280 speed, you're pushing in the 400s. This is going to be a nasty team to take out.
Yeah. Real quick, I just pulled up Lobot just for the funs of it. Lobot's lead when it's maxed out is droid allies gain 25 speed and 10% potency, which kind of fits in very good with this Omicron because you're applying target lock a lot, so you need a little bit of extra potency. Is nice. And then his unique is also pretty good. It is Lobot gains 5.5% speed and then 5% tenacity for each living droid ally. But other than that, he's not going to give much. Looks like he has a heal. It's a dispel that turns into a heal, kind of. And then Lobot gains 8% turn meter for each living droid ally, and droid allies gain half that amount. So it's 12% turn meter. It's nothing crazy, but I mean,
nothing crazy. But I mean, it's one of these things. I think you can get creative with this. But I think all in all, it's a good Omicron.
My first thinking with this was from like the GG droid standpoint was if you throw it in for Grievous, like I'm just throwing hypothetical out there, if you throw in T3 with Grievous, then you're most likely taking out Droideka. I mean, most people know Droideka is kind of like that wink link of the team. And so then now you got to put Droideka somewhere. Then you're putting Droideka with, that Newt lead with Django and them. And then now that means you can throw Watt or even Enfys Nest. Like even recently, Enfys Nest has been a pretty decent kind of fifth for that BAM team and even the Dash Rendar team. So this it kind of sounds silly to give an Omicron to something just so that way you could have Enfys Nest for a team, but like in Territory War, like especially with like a lot of these zones, it's pretty nice to be able to give yourself pretty much an extra team that's solid. So that was kind of my way of thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen. I think this we've gotten to the point now where there's a lot more droids that are in the game now, and especially with improvements to relics and modding and all that, it's going to be a solid team. The GG Nuke team was always an interesting team on defense. Mm-hmm. Now with this, it's going to be even better because they have the health recovery. Or even if you want to go a different way, like you got HK47 lead, which reads droid allies have plus 30% crit chance, 20% crit damage, and gain 10% turn meter on a critical hit. I mean, you can get some crazy stuff with getting all those crits and stuff, and on top of that, with all the target lock synergy. So it'll be curious to see. But I would say if you've got good droids, good separatist droids, or if you got T3 up and running, I don't think this hurts just to slap an Omicron on it. I think for offense and for defense, this will be able to do something.
Yeah. Also, Imperial Probe Droid is kind of interesting here because Probe can also inflict target lock. So that's kind of another guy who can just keep target lock out on the field. So all in all, this is kind of there's a lot to tinker with this one. It's kind of fun. So I like it. I probably won't be getting this one anytime soon though, but I mean, it's still fun nonetheless. I mean, there's a lot of tinkering you can do with it. So I guess it's on to the eighth brother then.
Yeah, so the eighth brother got his kit up and running here. His kind of he is going to be a dark side attacker, Empire, Inquisitorius, and of course an unaligned Force user. He reads a stealthy member of the Inquisitorius with an arsenal of tricks and weapons to surprise his opponent. So his basic ability here. If eighth brother did not have stealth this turn, he gains stealth for 3 turns. Then, Deal physical damage to target enemy, and, if the target is a Jedi, inflict 1 stack of Purge, max of 6, until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied or resisted. Special 1, which has a cooldown of 3. If the 8th brother did not have stealth this turn, he gains stealth for 3 turns. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict accuracy down and burning for 2 turns. Jedi enemies damaged by this ability instead are inflicted with blind and burning for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. This ability deals double damage to enemies who have any stacks of Purge. Let's see here. His next special it has a cooldown of 5 and is a Zeta. If 8th brother did not have stealth this turn, he gains stealth for 3 turns. Deal physical damage and consume up to 5 stacks of Purge. For each stack of Purge consumed this way, after the first, deal physical damage again. 1 plus stack consumed, inflict healing immunity for 2 turns. 2 plus, inflict speed down. 3 plus, inflict ability block for 1 turn. 4 stacks, inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. And if 5 stacks are consumed, inflict armor shred for the rest of the battle. These debuffs cannot be resisted by Jedi enemies. And his leader ability, which is an Omicron. Empire allies have plus 5% accuracy and 5% potency. Inquisitorious allies have an additional plus 30% accuracy and plus 30% potency. Jedi enemies that gain foresight from Jedi unique abilities also gain blind for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever another Inquisitorious allies use a basic ability, they have a 30% chance to inflict a stack of Purge, max of 6, until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied, evaded, or resisted. And his Omicron reads while in Territory Wars, when Jedi enemies gain taunt from Jedi unique abilities, all enemies take damage equal to 20% of their max health. This damage cannot defeat enemies. Jedi enemies that receive critical hit immunity from Jedi unique abilities dispel critical hit immunity and instead are inflicted with vulnerable for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. And his unique reads, at the start of the battle, 8th brother gains stealth for 3 turns. Whenever 8th brother gains stealth, he recovers 20% health and 20% protection. Whenever 8th brother uses any of his abilities during his turn, if he had stealth at the beginning of the turn, he loses stealth and gains accuracy up and potency up for 2 turns. If that ability was Whirling Strike or Photon Grenades, he inflicts 1 stack of Purge, max of 6, on any enemy damaged by that ability. So, after all that, we have the 4th member of the Inquisitors. What are your kind of thoughts now that we've had him in the game for about a week?
Pretty good. I love doing this. Was the one marquee event out of the 4 so far that I've actually enjoyed doing because you had all 4 of them, and it might have just been me, but it felt like it took forever to get through the marquee event, even without it on auto, because like they just did like no damage. But I love it because like this is a super debuff heavy team. Like I don't even remember if I was thinking about it right, but like there's blind, there's daze, there was like crit chance down maybe, tons of just random debuffs, not even including the purge mechanic. But there's just tons of debuffs going around, and so I could see this being kind of like almost like a Bad Batch team where they just inflict a ton of debuffs and just kind of wail you down. But I kind of like it. I kind of want to see how they do in Dark Side Geo, if I'm being honest. I mean, I could see them doing very good in the early phases, but I just kind of wonder how they do late phase. Are they going to, have the damage output to, finish a wave 4? But
I think what's interesting when looking at these characters, I think this is the first lead that I've actually, or the first Omicron lead that actually seems kind of decent. Because basically when you're looking at the Omicron, they're essentially every time, Jedi enemies gain taunts, all enemies take damage equal to 20% of their max health. That's basically exposed damage right there. Everyone's taking exposed damage. So I think, especially now when we're talking about the marquee event, this is the first time that I noticed, like, you didn't have to purposely wait to try and get Purge stacking. It would go pretty quickly. You could get Purge stacking up pretty quickly. And all of their kind of cute interactions were now starting to kind of make sense. and I still think we're one more character away. I think we need just the one thing that makes this really cool, because this could maybe beat some low level Jedi Knight Revan teams, or this could beat some bad GR Jedi teams. But I think we just need one more thing to wrap this all together. I will say this team so far is really fast. All of the Inquisitors are 186 base speed, and then except for the ninth sister. The ninth sister is like 167, which is, especially for a tank, that's really fast. So this team,
perspective, Rex is only like 140 speed base, if I'm not mistaken. Just to kind of put that in perspective of how fast 160 base is.
So I'm gonna pull up here swgoh.gg character stats, and we're gonna sort by speed. The fastest non-GL is Moff Gideon at 198. Wat Tambor has a base speed of 186. He's one of the fastest characters in the game, and you now have 3 characters that are starting at 186. So you're going to have 3 characters that are going to be one of the fastest characters in the game. I mean, you can easily be pushing these characters to 330, 340 speed. Easily. So, and especially if you get another, with the Grand Inquisitor coming, if he gives plus 20 speed, plus 30 speed, I mean, these guys could be pushing 370, 400 speed. So I do think a lot of these characters have ways to boost their damage, but I haven't seen anything huge with damage. But the Armor Shred helps, and the second sister boosting her defense penetration helps. But I think they're one damage dealer away from being really solid. But then again, they might just be a control team, to where if the opposing teams just don't take turns. So, but I like it though. The kids seem good, and I'm really looking forward to these last couple characters for the Inquisitors being announced.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Rex is 160 base speed, so I was completely off on that. But still, the fact that you have a tank that is faster than one of the characters that's supposed to be a very fast character base wise. So just kind of throwing that one out there.
So, did we want to jump into the title update, or what do we wanted to go to next?
We had a question that I thought was actually pretty good. This was from Art. Okay, I'll read it. He goes, he's like, maybe do a good size segment related to the best light side TB and dark side TB teams outside of GLs. What are maybe the top 4 or 5 teams you would recommend for CMs based on your experience? And what struggles have you found with these teams? What Omicrons are actually helpful and which ones are duds? Any unique combinations that you use that you have found success with? And so I went ahead and I made a list of my top 5 dark side TV teams. I didn't do a light side TV list because I didn't have the time to, but I think I can maybe freehand it. And I got them in list order. So I think this may be pretty kind of controversial to some people. Some people might not like my list, but I think if you wanna let me go, I'll go ahead and
yeah, go right ahead.
So all right. So for Dark Side TB, I have Darth Revan with Malik as the best non-GL team. Number 2, I have M Troopers, but this is with Piet and Dark and Gideon in them, or even just honestly, if you just do Piet, Veers, Stark, and then 2 randoms, it's still just as good. You don't need Gideon and Dark. It's still an easy 4 for 4. At 3, I got GG. At 4, I have Geos, and at 5, I was stuck on this one, and so I really didn't. I'm gonna put 2 for number 5, and I'm gonna say Treya and Boba Sion, or however you say it, Boba Fett, Sikon of Jango Fett. And my honorable mentions would be Night Sisters and Vader. So if you want to, pick me apart, go ahead.
No, I actually really like that list. I would actually probably say the same thing. I think Darth Revan Malik that's probably the one of the best non-GL ones, just because I mean, if you have a high enough relic Malik can almost solo the whole thing.
Yeah.
But as long as your my Darth Revan Malik kind of caps out because I haven't geared up the rest of the Sith Empire team, but pretty much my Darth Revan and Malik at like low relics can go 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4 in phase 4, and then 4 out of 4 the rest of the earlier phases. So I would say yeah, Sith Empire's number one. M Troopers, especially if you have Moff Gideon and Dark Trooper, that just makes it even easier. But if you did like Veer, Stark, Piet, Range Trooper, and anyone else, that's a solid team.
I mean, there's an argument to be made that that is the best
Yeah,
team. But just for me, I haven't had much experience with the team, so I really would like to get a little bit more. But it's still number two. I mean, honestly, number one and number two for this list can be interchangeable, and it'll be just as fun. I think GG is the solid three here.
yeah,
Also, I've been finding that like just having like wide separatists is pretty nice because I've been replacing Jordica and having Watt as my fifth for that team, and I've really enjoyed it. It just you throw the tank tech on the B2 rocket guy, throw all the techs around, you get tons of healing, and then it's impossible. Like I went to like a phase 4 CM, got 4 out of 4 with it because of just Watt and GG refusing to die, and it's pretty awesome. Even like Newt, sometimes I'll use Newt as my fifth if I'm gonna use Watt somewhere else, and even then, like that still is a pretty scary team too. Like I like that one. Geos I think can be 4, but I mean some people might be able to argue Treya is better. But I just like
think Geos are better here just because they've got more. They benefit more from the TB bonuses, and I mean shoot, like even like as long as your Geos are Watt ready, you can get a phase or two in phase 4, and if you have any couple relics on your Geos, and like especially like in that Watt special mission you have to do, as long as you have the right relics and you're running Watt there with the Geos, I mean that's all you really need. So yeah, I would say Geos. I have seen gameplay of IPD in GOTB, and that team is nutty. You can do some crazy, crazy damage, but I don't think he's necessary. Like that IPD Omicron's a lot of fun, but I think you can have just as much success with just using Mara Jade. If you get Mara Jade to 7 stars, you open it with tenacity, with her AoE tenacity down, and that takes care of the tenacity problem in phase 4, and then you can just run Palp Vader, run the whole crew with Mara Jade, and that's a 4 out of 4 right there. You brought up Boba Fett Sign of Django, so I know, Rock, you've seen a little bit of my gameplay, but if the main thing is you do need, if you want it to be really easy, you're going to need Fennec to go with it, but let's be real, if you have Boba Fett Sign of Django, like, you have Fennec.
yeah.
So I ran that phase 4. I ran Bosk Lead, Boba, Dengar, Fennec, and I think either IG-88 or Cad Bane, and I could have autoed it. Like, you just start hitting so hard, and Boba just controls the whole thing. I would say that team, if you have Boba Fett, because normally bounty hunters will cap out around phase 3, but Boba Fett is what takes them up and over, where you can run bounty hunters all throughout it. But yeah, I'm with you there. Night Sisters are good. It's really not until phase 4 that Darkside TB gets difficult. So I would say, yeah, any of those teams, if you're going to run bounty hunters, make sure, keep farming Boba and Conquest. If not, yeah, I think that's a solid list there.
Yeah. Treya, I speak for Treya just a bit. I have the team pretty much full Gear 12, and I'll run like Dooku and Thrawn as my fifth. And not a single relic on the team, and it's probably one of the more easier 4 out of 4s if you have 20 to 25 minutes to spare. The team does not do a whole lot of damage. It's basically just Nihilus one-shotting everybody. And I can't tell you how satisfying it is to be able to open a phase and just insta-kill Padme, turn one, and just throw the rest of the thing on auto because, you're going to be able to win.
Yeah.
And that's why I like Trey. Vader didn't make my list mainly because Vader starts falling off phase 3 and phase 4. You really need tenacity down in those lower phases, and other than Mara Jade, the only other person I can think of that does tenacity down for them is TIE Fighter Pilot, and he just is not a very good TB character.
TIE Fighter Pilot will, Krennic will, but even still, it's just one of those things that none of them have the AoE tenacity down, and you kind of need that AoE tenacity down. But this is where you don't need too many teams. You kind of only need that 4 or 5 there, because Separatists take up a decent amount of them. That's a good list right there. If you could have those teams. Also, Maul Mandalorians is an excellent Phase 4 team. If you have Maul, Canderous, Jango Fett, and I've even seen low gear Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando, Maul just runs circles around the whole thing. I've also seen if you throw Watt in there with Maul, easy 4 out of 4.
Yeah. Let me see. I have 3 on my light side TV list. So I have 1 is just anything with Cat. If it Padme Cat, I've been loving Cat. I literally go Padme, Cat, Jedi Knight, Anakin, and then my 4th and 5th are Clone Sergeant and Cody. And I think the only time I haven't gotten a 4 out of 4 is when Droideka one-shot me phase 1. It's just an easy win. Number 2, I got the Rolo Omni, just the Rolo Omni, just to make MDA happy. 3 would be probably Shock T clones, I would say. I'll put, just to rough it here, I'll go Mon Mothma at 4, but that's with Kyle. Without Kyle, it's a little bit lower. And then 5th, I'll go, Jedi Knight Luke. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll put Jedi Knight Luke at 3. I completely forgot he's not a GL, so let me redo my list. So I got Cat at 1, Rolo Omni at 2, 3, I'll do Jedi Knight Luke, and then I'll say Shock T clones, and then CLS in that order. And then honorable mentions of Padme without Cat, and then Mon Mothma as my honorable mentions. And then I guess Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement there. So my favorite, hands down, is Rolo. Rolo has been absolutely phenomenal, especially if you pair up with Chupio. That's literally the only characters you really need. You can pretty much auto it. Imagine saying you can auto Lightside Geo. And again, it's you have to make the decision if you want to put on a TB Omicron, but it does what it says it does. It makes it really easy. I would say anything with Cat, like you said. You can throw Cat with Padme. You can throw Cat with, I've seen Dash Rendar. I've seen Cat with Beskar Mando. Pretty much just Cat anywhere, and she's going to do something. Let me think. Like you said, Kyle Katarn. I've seen him with Mon Mothma, and I've also seen him with Jedi Knight Luke. He works excellent in both places. With and without his Omicron, but I'd say definitely with his Omicron, it's just like Rolo, you can auto it. But Jedi Knight, I would say, but Mon Mothma without Kyle Katarn is not quite as good, whereas Jedi Knight Luke, you don't need Kyle Katarn, but Kyle makes it easier. I personally am not a fan of CLS. I don't think he's that good of a Lightside Geo team. Pretty much is, you have to pray that you don't get General Grievous, because if you get General Grievous, you're screwed. I will say this. I'm going to get some heat from this. I think the Karth one is actually really good for territory battles. I've not seen great gameplay for it. I've only seen Hoth gameplay, but from what I'm seeing with just reading the kit and just looking at the characters and all that, I think it's absolutely doable. You run a team of Karth, Mission Zalbar, Bastila, and either T3 or Juhani, and that team can 4 out of 4. You'll keep stacking damage. There's no way that they can kill you. Now it is going to require like Gear 13 and possibly some low relics on that team, which I'm not sure that's a level of investment that you really need, because by the time that you're at a place in the game when you're putting low relics on a Karth team, you probably have enough teams for light side Geo and you don't need the Karth Omicron. But let's just say that you wanted to put relics on Karth. I think that team absolutely can 4 out of 4 to the levels of Rolo and Kyle Katarn and all that. But that is just that. But no, I agree with your list there. Those are good ones.
And just to answer, we've already said some helpful Omicrons. What do you think are some duds? Because I have not kept up with a lot of these TB Omicrons. So
Yeah, I
what
think
do you
it's
think are
I
some
think it's just
duds?
the ones that we've talked about. I would say Karth is going to be a dud just because you have to relic up Old Republic just to do TB and nowhere else. And as much as I like it, it's just not that worth it. There's just better teams that you can farm up that have more uses. I think the Kyle Katarn one it's really good, but I don't think it really moves the needle because he already goes 4 out of 4 with it, and you just don't need it.
Mm.
Pretty much, you make it to where you can secure the 4 out of 4, no questions asked. Whereas if you don't have the Omicron, there might be a chance that you fail, but most likely you're going to go 4 out of 4 as long as you got the right mods on it and all that.
Yeah. Would you
IPD
say
is
IPD is a dud?
um I would say if we get a new dark side territory battle, no. But if this is the last dark side TB we get, I would say yes, just because its only use comes in phase 4, and if we're being honest, I don't think it's really needed to do anything, and it's just if your IPD is just not really used anywhere else, and if you're putting an Omicron on them just to go 4 out of 4 there, and again, this is just the argument with TB ones. It's hey, if you have him 7 stars and you've got him Gear 13, then sure, why not? But if by the time though, if you really have a relic IPD, you probably have enough teams that you can go 4 out of 4. But it is good. It's just that it's you have to ask yourself is it worth putting an Omicron on IPD just to do this when you might have some other teams. But it's I would say probably avoid it. But if you got it and you want to do it, it'll do what it's supposed to do.
All right. We want to go ahead and run into the title update.
Yeah. Do you got it pulled up?
Yeah, hang on. I just clicked the link. It's loading. Yeah, I got it. Let me see. Looks like we'll have an enemy fleet preview, kind of like with Squad Arena. That should be live. The Omnicrons will now show up as a separate thing, so now you can see if they have one. It will also show in game. So, like if you're looking at the title update now, like when you click on the character, it will show the Zeta and the Omicron, so they have it. I think probably the best part of this is being able to craft gear from the salvager. You no longer have to keep what's his name, Ugnaught at gear 6 or 5 or whatever it is, just to craft stuff. So now you don't have to worry about hoarding a character for that.
I think that's
Apparently
it.
there's already issues though, but I mean it's not too bad.
I know, like the main issues is there's some issues with like the indicator not showing up, but I'm sure that'll get patched in a little bit. But the fleet preview is nice. The Omicron badges is nice. But yeah, I'm with you. The crafting gear from the salvager, that's really nice that I
Yeah.
can just go and craft that individual gear, and especially this helps when like if you're hoarding gear for like for a GL or something, you can already go and craft that gear and craft all the relic pieces, and you can have it ready for when you unlock them. You don't necessarily have to do the math of like, okay, how many of this do I need? Or if you just or you don't want to keep your Ugnaught or your Lobot at a certain gear level because you want to craft the certain pieces of gear. It's nice that you can just go do this. This is a nice quality of life thing. So yeah, this is a good update.
One last thing. I kind of forgot about this. We have not talked about the additional fleet in Kyber, and I kind of wanted your thoughts on that. because
Yeah.
that was something that came out uh since the last time we did the pod. That they just up on us on like I think it was 2 days ago. Not 2 days ago, but that was whenever I posted it. But it was like almost a week ago, right? When they just up and just said, "Oh, we're gonna add more fleets to the game to Grand Arena."
Yeah.
Yeah, about a week ago almost.
So
So
pretty much as if you are not in Kyber, this doesn't affect you whatsoever. But if you are
not
in
at all.
Kyber, basically you have to place 3 fleets for defense, and you have to place fleets for offense. I was kind of pissed at first, but I'm gonna be honest. This was inevitable, and I think this just forces people to go on fleets. I can kind of, walk through the fleets, but what were your kind of thoughts here on it?
I think as someone that like this is also two different perspectives because you have executor and I don't. And so from your perspective, this is still good. This is just like, everything's still rolling because you're just gonna throw executor on defense and hope you can clear a couple fleets. And I mean, from for me not having executor, I'm sitting here because like usually I just throw my two trash fleets on defense. I save negotiator and malevolence for offense and just take out their trash fleets. And so now I'm at a point now where I'm like, huh, my third fleet, I'm like now I'm gonna have to make two more fleets, and I'm already struggling to make four, just to kind of put in perspective. So I'm at this point now where I'm just gonna have to throw like gear one, level one stuff on defense just so I have enough to field stuff. And so I didn't really like that, especially since like a lot of these fleets, like especially like I think of it like with Mace. So like when you first get Mace, you're just kind of throwing whatever. But uh and then as you're leveling up those, Galactic Republic guys, you're waiting for, Negotiator. You get Negotiator. All those guys go with him, and now you're left with Mace to just, get some leftovers. But even then, like, what do you put with them? Like, there's nothing really valuable you can put with them. Same thing goes with like the Radis. Like, I mean, they even like we got one new ship for the fleet, but we don't even have a complete fleet for it. Same with First Order, don't even have a complete fleet with it. I mean, the Empire fleet does look pretty good. I like what they did with that, but like, I don't know. It's just I just think this
So
is too. I just think it's kind of a too soon kind of update.
So here's my perspective on this because I think we do have at least like from in Kyber 4, Kyber 5, and maybe even Kyber 3, you might be hurting, but I think it like if you're getting to the top levels of Kyber, I mean we
Oh
realistically
yeah.
do have these fleets here. So I'm gonna walk through all the viable, or I'm gonna say these are the viable fleets here. Obviously, you have Executor, you have
Hmm.
Negotiator, you have Malevolence. That's 3. You have the Akbar Rebels. You have Radis, and you have Finalizer. Now so then the last 3 fleets are Chimera, um, Mace, and Tarkin. I would say now with the addition of the Interceptor that the Chimera is up to. I would put it into the Negotiator Malevolence area. So right then and there, I think that's 7, if I did my math right. Yeah, Negotiator, Malevolence, Executor.
9.
So,
I think we got
um,
non-fleets. Well, are we
so,
talking about viable or
so of the
non-viable?
viable ones, we have
Okay.
Executor, Malevolence, Negotiator, Akbar, Chimera, Finalizer, and Radis. That's 7 right there. Um, Especially now that we've seen the Finalizer counter the Executor, that breathes some life into things. But also, so now that's 7 fleets that you have. And especially with the Chimera doing work, doing things, I think this is just it's what they're doing is they're forcing us to invest in fleets because whether we like it or not, it's a part of the game. But so when you think about this, so I have Executor, I have both of the Get Two fleets, and I have Akbar, and then I also have Chimera because I have the Interceptor as well. Um, Unfortunately, yes, like I don't have Finalizer, I don't have Radis, and then I've just got Gear 1 stuff to go on the other stuff. But I think Glerman had an interesting thing here. He put it into the comments. He said, "You may not have Executor, but if you have both get 2 and your opponent didn't, don't you think you would be in a better position?" So
Yeah.
I think this is the same thing as it becomes kind of like GLs. You might be out GL'd or you might be out shipped, but it is one of these things where whether you keep your Executor on offense because you want to go for the full clear, or if you keep it on defense and you're going to try and play more of a zone thing, if you go heavy defense versus heavy offense. The good thing is, you can still just put, trash on defense. I think it just, and also, in Grand Arena, how many reinforcements do you realistically actually use? Because if I'm using more than 1, maybe 2 reinforcements, you're probably not winning that battle. So, if you think about it, you only put, on defense, only put 2 reinforcements with those fleets. You can split up these teams pretty decently. Again, I think it's going to be an adjustment. But again, I remember when they expanded Kyber to have 2 fleets, and when they had more teams on defense, it's just one of those things that I think it's just going to be an adjustment period. But I think, and especially if they add more ships, I think we'll be in a better spot. But I don't know. All of a sudden, if you blow a counter, Radis becomes a lot more difficult to counter, or some of these Empire or Rebel fleets become a lot more difficult to counter. So, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think this is a necessary evil that we have to go through.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I kind of hate it, but also I think of this more as this is more of a whale update. This is more kind of tailored towards those guys that, are 8 mil plus, who have most of the ships, and, it breeds a little bit of strategy, which I like, but for a lot of people who are lower GP that are just trying to min-max their way into Kyber, this kind of sucks. So, all right, what is next? What do we have next on our list of stuff? I don't think we have much left to chat about.
I think if we want to start taking questions, if anyone in the chat has questions, we'll be more than happy here to.
Go ahead if you have a question. There's a little hand button. You press it. It says you want to chat. We throw you in here. You give us a question, kick you out, and then we answer it. Or if you want to ask the question in podcast text right above this channel, that works as well. So whatever you want to do, we'll be here for, I guess I'll give it a minute or two. If no one wants to ask a question, we'll head on to what's next, and then we'll end it.
Any takers?
We got a typer.
We got a typer. All right.
Yeah, we got a typer. I'll give it a second. Take your time, bud. I guess since we wait for him, speaking of Kyber, I've been in Erodium 1 forever, and I finally got to Kyber 4. Ooh. And I'm dreading it.
You're going with the big boys.
Yeah, I'm absolutely just break down what I put on defenses. Usually I put JMK with Cat. All right, this is Obi-Wan Jablomi. Oh God, I can't believe you made me say that.
Obi-Wan Jablomi.
Yeah. Opinions on Lord Vader with Inquisitorius. Who's in versus out in the event? The 5 requirements are all Inquis, and the GL has an odd duck out. Okay. Unless I'm mistaken. I don't know much about... Okay, wait. Opinions on Lord Vader with Inquisitorius. Who is in versus who is out?
So
you asking what you would put with Lord Vader? I guess is what his question's asking.
So I'm gonna answer this as I'm kind of interpreting this. Okay, so if I were to build a Lord Vader team with the Inquisitors, and we're gonna use this to counter JMK Cat, or let's just say just JMK without Cat. From what I have seen, Ninth Sister is really good as a tank. She's been fantastic, and she's able to kind of stay with the team. Seventh Sister with the heals has been nice. The other two, second and eighth, I don't know if they're going to be really that great. From what I'm seeing, sorry, I'm having for whoever's watching this back on the replay, I'm flipping back and forth between the screens, just making sure that I can see the text. But Lord Vader's the way that he's designed is kind of funny because he wants to pull mastery from people, so you want to have high relics on the whole team. I think what you can do is you can do Ninth Sister, Seventh Sister, and I think that's going to be it from what you pull, because I think you're going to want to keep like Royal Guard and Ball. I'm going to be honest, I don't think that the Inquisitors are going to run with Lord Vader. They just, I think they're meant to be within their own thing. They're going to be with the Grand Inquisitor. I don't think they're going to be with... I think they can run with Lord Vader, but I think that they're just going to be... It's just like how, like, Bad Batch can run under, like, Rex lead or Shaak Ti, but they're just so much better under their own lead. I think that's how it's going to be with the Inquisitors.
I agree. Also, with, like, the Purge mechanic, Lord Vader's not going to be really taken... Or would he take advantage? I'm not too big on how Purge works, but... It seems like it almost, you want to just basically max out Purge to keep the Purge flowing. And if Lord Vader doesn't benefit from it, or if he doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't give that debuff out, then you're just kind of hurting yourself in the long run, I would say. I'm
gonna touch one more time on Inquisitors. I think they're a lot like Bad Batch because they're a self-contained faction. So let's just take Bad Batch for instance. Like, all of those characters are fairly good and you can run them with clones. However, like, they're just so much better and they're more unlocks. Like Wrecker, when you're in a full team of 5 with the Bad Batch, having that pre-taunt, the 2-turn stun on turn 1 is just really nice. And the same thing when you're looking at all these characters. They're designed so much around Purge, and especially like you look at Second Sister, she's able to do so much more damage when she can get her crit damage up. She can be pulling back turn meter. She can be, ignoring, having that high defense penetration. I think you'll be able to pull some of them, like just how like you can pull Echo onto different teams, you can pull Wrecker onto different teams. I think you'll be able to do that with like Ninth Sister, Seventh Sister, but I think for the most part they're going to stay with their own team. So that's all I got for the Inquisitors.
Yeah, I would agree. Country Club asked, not sure what I missed so far, but what's the plan if you only have 4 to 5 good fleets? Do you set 3 and not clear, or set a crappy 1 and maybe clear? But we kind of answered it. It was just you can kind of underdog a lot of stuff. Just like usually what I try to do is like, I know for like my negotiator, I'm bringing Anakin 5s, the Y-wing, Plo, and Ahsoka. Just in case things get out of hand, I can bring in Ahsoka. And then for my Malevolence, I'm bringing in basically just the Geos for Malevolence. And I throw Rex and then Clone Sergeant with Mace just to make it kind of annoying. And basically, you can kind of do if you're going to bring something on offense, kind of not bring the full team. So that way you can place a little bit more. But in the event where you just want to go full defense or full offense, honestly, I don't know. That will be something I'll have to, get my soul crushed with when I'm in Kyber. Yeah.
Conja Club, I would say this is now starting to get into more kind of just how Grand Arena is. I think it depends on the matchup that you have. If you have Executor and they don't, well then you can throw, one Executor down and put garbage and save the rest of your for offense. Or maybe you put a weak zone in front and then you put all your ships on defense and you make it a zones game. I think it's going to vary matchup to matchup and like who has the better fleets and who doesn't. Just like how the top ends of Kyber, it becomes a countering game of like, what do they traditionally set on defense and what do they traditionally keep for offense. it's going to be just one of those things that I don't think there's going to be a one size fits all method for fleets. I think it's going to vary based off the matchups. So I know I basically said nothing there with that, but I mean that's kind of how Grand Arena is though, because there's been times like in Kyber I've went full offense and then I've also went full defense, and it just kind of varies based off the matchup that you have.
Okay. We got two more type in, but I guess we can go ahead and us ourselves talk about what we're farming, and then we'll wait and see what they say. And then Kanji just said thanks for the info. I'll wait for Jablomi. God, I can't believe he's making me say that. I hate it so much. I guess I'll go ahead and start what I'm farming. I've just been farming executive requirements. I got TIE Fighter Pilot to Relics recently. Piet is Relic 3 now. TIE Fighter Pilot is Relic 0 or just Gear 13. IG-11 is Gear 11. No, it's not IG-11. That's IG-88 is Gear 11. And then I'm farming the IG ship. I have 100 more shards to go, which sounds so much fun. And then I have Razor Crest, but I'm kind of taking it slow with Razor Crest. I'm just farming out of the ship store because you can kind of gear them up fast if you're willing to start them up fast if you're willing to spend some crystals. So I'm just hoarding my crystals. Once I finish IG-11 or I get like 20 shards to finish an IG-11 ship, IG-88 ship, I'll just get Razor Crest, and then hopefully I'm ready to go for the event. Shouldn't be much more. And that's pretty much it. I'm hoarding gear, the good old stuff. Might farm Bad Batch soon, just like I've honestly been thinking about just putting the Zeta on Hunter, getting the rest of the Bad Batch to like Gear 7, Gear 8, and just throwing it in the back line of defense and just hoping it gets a hold. But other than that, not farming much. Also, sorry to cut you off, MDA, but Obi has another question. He was like, the viability of Kyle Katarn outside of the Mon Mothma team, who else would you put?
Okay.
So like putting Kyle Katarn with Jedi, or putting...
So...
Or just another Mon Mothma team without... Okay, Rebel Fighters. Okay, yeah. Honestly, my five that I like going with is let me see what I'm on my main account, what I'm running. I haven't saved in my squads, but I think I'm running Mon Mothma Poe. Let me look. I've been running where is my... There we go. No, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Okay. Now let me scroll off on it just a second. I'm running Mon Mothma, Chirrut Baze, Pow, and Lando. But I also went for Jedi Master Luke. So I have Lando at Relics. You can replace Lando for not Scarab Pathfinder, but Hoth Rebel Soldier. And
no, it's a Scout. Scout's the one you want.
Scout. Okay, I knew it was one of them, so 50-50 shot. Also, you can just run like the Wedge duo, like the Biggs and Wedge as well. Like, if you're basing it off of like Jedi Master Kenobi requirements, you can just go Mon Mothma, the X-Wing Bros, Lando, and then just like Pow, or like just a random fifth. But I will say that's just like a bare bones team. But if you want the team to be like kind of legit, you need Cara Dune. If you want that team to be something decent, you need Cara Dune for it. And Pow, I would say Cara Dune and Pow are like the two. So
yeah, I would say for so Kyle Katarn, main thing is like TB, you can run him with Jedi, but he was designed to go with Rebel Fighters. I would say the best Mon Mothma team, like you said, it's Mon Mothma, Pow, Hoth Rebel Scout, Kyle Katarn, and then It depends on what you're wanting to do. I would say Kara's good, Scarab Pathfinder's good. I would just say whatever fifth you want to put in there is going to be good, but that's kind of the core four is Mon Mothma, Kyle, Pow, Hoth Rebel Scouts. If you want to get spicy though, and you want to take full advantage of his unique, because in that Mon Mothma team he will gain 30% turn meter because he gains 10% turn meter for each other Rebel fighter. And unfortunately, Mon Mothma is not a Rebel fighter. But if you wanted to get like a full Rebel fighter team, you could do, like you said, Wedge lead, or you can do like Jin lead, and you could make it like so he gains 40% turn meter. However, you're going to lose viability when you do that, just because no one's attacking out of turn and fueling up the offense. So I would say, just if you want the best team, it's going to be that Mon Mothma team that I said there.
Yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and ask you. What you're farming. Oh wait, hang on. One more question.
Conjure Club here.
Going to be farmed. I need to know if it'll be easy, like Galactic War Store, or painful, like get to. And honestly, I don't know where they're going to put him. They put Razor Crest in the fleet store, which makes sense. He's a fleet drop, but he's a ship. So I mean that one makes sense. But where they're going to put Kat, considering like how good she is, I mean.
I could see her be get one, get two. I could also see her be like guild currency. It's one of those things. I don't know what they're trying to do with it. I personally wouldn't hoard material. It's going to take a while for her to get there. I would just say my guess. I have a feeling it's going to be either get one or get two, but could be wrong. So.
Galactic Store. Galactic Store, but 2,000 per 5 shards. Yeah. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they could even do like the Squad Arena store, but make it like crazy expensive per buy. I mean, that could be an option as well. But also for a lot of these guys who didn't like I think on my main account, I think I'm sitting at like 100k squad arena tokens. What am I sitting at? 51k squad arena tokens. I could just side farm Cat. So like I don't see it being any of like the squad arena cantina or any of those, just because like that'd just be too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like the drop rate of Razor Crest. I think in the time it's been out, I think I've bought like 8 or 9 times, maybe even less than that in the time it's been out, and I catch pretty much every store refresh. So yeah,
it's gonna be tough. So what I'm farming, I am working on Gas and Shakti clones. I have
finally.
Yeah, so I got Gas to Relic 6, and I'm going to take him up to R8 for the Lord Vader Wreck. So I should have him at R8 probably by the end of next week, or hopefully this week. It depends on how quickly I can get signal data, because I have all the R8 mats and all that. I just need to get the signal data. All of my clones, I got all my clones to Gear 12, and Shakti's at Gear 12, so it's now just, a week or two, or 2 to 3 weeks for each Gear 12. Actually, I got 5s to Gear 13, that was pretty big, so it's pretty much just Gear 13 and relicking, which will just, take time. Imp Troopers are after that. My Imp Troopers have mods on them now, so I'm using them in Grand Arena, because my Piet's R8 with good speed mods. So I'm beating some low stuff there.
Yeah, that team's been fun.
Yeah, no, it seems a lot of fun. So pretty much Gas and Shakti clones are going to be taking up my time for probably the next couple weeks. But the good thing now is I can actually use Gas in Lightside GOTB. So like the Gas Ahsoka mission I can finally run, or like I can throw Gas with my Jedi Knight Luke. So I'm excited for that. Starkiller is also like in the it's up further. That's gonna be my next like big project is Starkiller, but it'll be a minute because I still have to 7-star all the characters and do all that. So, but yeah, hopefully by the time that I have my clones cam ready, we won't be 7-starring cam, but
Yeah,
hopefully.
it's heavy.
I would say probably next GOTB I'll be able to do the cam run. I probably won't be able to get it for this upcoming cam run.
Fair enough. You know what? We didn't really talk about this, but Obi put his farming plans in. So I guess if anyone else wants to throw in their farming plans, I'll read them out,
Or if
and
you wanna
then
jump up on here, tell us what you're farming. We'll
yeah, go ahead, go
you can
for
come
it.
up here and tell us what you're farming.
Or you can chat it and request to speak. Tell us what you're farming. If you want to type it, that's fine. I'll read it out, and then after this, I think this is probably end of the episode for
Yeah.
us. If you joined midway through, MDA will post it on YouTube so you can watch the whole thing. But so we have Obi, soon unlock JMK and Gas. Do you place Gas with JMK or with his 501st? I'll answer that in just a second. And we got Glermit, just got tech to R5, only 6 more to go for Lord Vader. Everyone's gear 13. Good stuff. I hope you have fun with them. Please master the Lord Vader P1 run. I would really appreciate that. Contra Club, finishing up Gas, working on shot clones, 2 out of 3. Or 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. I hate numbers. And then building out the Vader model for CPIT. I got 2 more typing, but I'll wait and then hopefully answer. Specific Kenobi, since I got promoted to Kyber, congratulations. You are just like me. Trying to fill out my GAG defense. Plan is Mon Mothma, Iden, Dash, and then Bad Batch. Iden's pretty good. All you got to do is pretty much just Iden, Zeta, and then throw 4 with her, and she's really good. Sinbad, 3.5, first order left to gear 13, then on to the relic farms. Have fun. I hope you'll appreciate the ticket grind. That is also very fun. To answer Obi's question, to place JMK with Gas, if you're like in Squad Arena, I would do Gas with JMK, but like in Grand Arena, I would put Gas with the clones, just because it gives you 2 really good teams. And then I've been throwing Shakti with JMK, or
Yeah.
I'll throw Mace. I'll throw Mace with JMK, and then I'll keep Shakti with my Qui-Gon Jinn Omni. And I've been kind of liking that too, because my Shakti's pretty fast. She goes first. I call Anakin to assist. He insta kills somebody, and then that's pretty much the battle.
Oh, I forgot to say I gave a new Omicron, or actually I think I got a couple new Omicrons. Wampa Omicron has been very fun. Wampa Omicron is soloing Relic 7 General Grievous teams, and mine's only Relic 5. So, it's I'd say once I start seeing Iden teams, I'm going to bump them up to R7 or R8 and, get them ready to do that. And then I just gave Akbar his Omicron, and I'm going to planning on, I've got my Phoenix characters to run with Akbar, but I'm also, my next Omicron will be Princess Leia. So I will be running that team as well.
Nice. I put the Omicron to Mace. I haven't gotten any use out of it yet, so
Actually, TW is coming up, though, so...
yeah, true. I can get I used last TW. I used Mace with just like Padme leftovers. I think it was like Padme, Mace, Anakin, and then the 2 clones. Or it was like, I think it was Padme, Anakin, Mace, 3PO, and then like Ayla as my 5th. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I really want to beat something. I don't want to, not beat a team. So like, I went for like a full Relic BAM team with like an R5 IG-11. And I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and try it. And Mace is pretty legit, I'll be honest. It was a very easy win, I would say. So
solid. Real quick, I'm gonna touch on Kenobi's thing here on Akbar's Omicron, and then I think we should let's wrap up
Yeah.
here. So I've got Akbar Omicron. I will be getting Princess Leia to go with it, but I think that's to make it super legit. But what I'm running right now is Akbar, Leia, Hera, Kanan, and Chopper. I've also thought about throwing Zeb in instead of Leia or instead of one of the others, but the idea is Phoenix has a ton of synergy with themselves. However, they don't like Phoenix Lee just is not that great for GAC. But however, with all the turn meter gains, from like because I have all their Zetas as well. There's going to be someone whenever like Kanan's taunt or his foresight goes away, he gains 100% turn meter, and then the team gains 50% turn meter. The Phoenix does. I think I can make a cute team with that. Otherwise, pretty much like Akbar, you throw Chirrut and Baze with that. This is my ultimate Akbar Omicron team, and you guys are hearing this. Actually, you know what? I think I told Glurmit this before somewhere, but this is my end game Akbar Omicron team. It is going to be Akbar Omi, Princess Leia with the Omi, Stormtrooper Han, Ahsoka Fulcrum, and you heard it here first, Farm Boy Luke.
Oh, yay. Oh, finally, Bones can,
So, hear me out here. So,
use for the Zeta.
Leia's going to be called to assist a ton, and her Omicron's going to be there. She's healing up the team. Luke, when he scores a critical hit, gains 40% turn meter on a basic. And especially if he's being called to assist a ton, because he'll be one of the weaker ones, he's doing that. And I will, if I do this, I will put the Zeta on him. So every time he takes a turn, he is going to be gaining critical damage. Stormtrooper Han has some like busted levels of turn meter gains. And then Fulcrum, you throw all those buffs there. Fulcrum's just nuking people left and right. I'm not gonna lie, I think that could be a meta team right there. So that's gonna be maybe if I get bored of throwing relics on my clones, I might go throw some relics on Farm Boy Luke instead. Or I have a Zeta to give, and like I could give it to Rex, or like I could give it to Farm Boy Luke, and I think we know what I have to do here. But yeah, that's the idea. So, you got anything else, Rock?
No, just if you're in the audience or even people listening that joined midway through but then left, let me know how you like this setup. If give me or MDA a DM. Let me know if you liked kind of doing it live on Discord instead of YouTube, because this was kind of our test run for this. Personally, I like this a lot better than the YouTube.
Yeah, no, this has been great.
But y'all give me your thoughts. Just give me a DM or whatever. If you don't have to. It is what it is. Anyone listening, would that be considered? In the I guess watching on YouTube, go ahead and do the same. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. But so
yeah, appreciate everyone for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Alrighty, I will stop.